Welcome back to Home and Haven Farms. My name is Brittany, and today we are going to be discussing how my family and I went from being vegan to raising and processing and eating our own animal products. So before I really get into the points and story of ours, I wanted to go ahead and say this to begin with. It's okay if you disagree with our lifestyle choices. It's okay if you think that there are better methods and ways to live and eat food. It's also okay if you don't like our lifestyle choices. My husband and I are very open to discussions, and we're more than happy to talk more about these things with everybody. So if you want to discuss and communicate about these differences or even similarities, feel free to comment, but I will be blocking and restricting access to anybody who comes on here with hateful messages, threats, or comments with ill will and malicious intent. So, boundary and trigger warning. So how on earth did we go vegan and then start raising animals and eating them? We'll talk a little bit about that now. Well, Bryan and I first went vegan for moral purposes. So for Bryan, he was already processing and raising his own meat in terms of rabbits. And for Bryan, he had an aha moment where he saw the value of the rabbit's life as more than just food. And he sought to understand that on a deeper level. For me, it was the slaughterhouse videos. I had tried going vegan for spiritual and energetic purposes. I tried to go vegan for health purposes, and that didn't work either. But for me, it was seeing the main chain slaughterhouses and how they deal with raising their meat and then processing it. It really bothered me, and I wanted nothing to do with those methods. Those were far too cruel for me to feel okay buying into. So that's how it started for us. Bryan had been vegan for about 5 years, and I had been vegan for about 5.5 years. It started off really well for us, but we all noticed a decline in our health as time went on. Now, all of our health in ways were kind of taking a decline. Bryan had, I say had because he hasn't had a flare-up in probably a year. Bryan had Lyme disease, and when we were vegan, he would get the worst flare-ups that would leave him pretty much debilitated for about a week at a time. And you all who have been following our channel know that we have a farm. And there's a lot of work that needs to get done very consistently on a farm, especially our style of farm that we want to do. The things that we want to do take work and effort, and nothing can get done if either of us are stuck in bed for a whole week. That's a lot of time to lose. For me, I had issues holding weight on my body. So as you guys have seen, I'm a little lady. I am 5 foot tall, and I'm lucky if I can hit 100 pounds. So every single pound counts on a little frame like mine, and it didn't seem to matter how much I ate. I could not keep weight on my body, and I was not a junk food vegan. I bought the chlorella. I bought chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, as many things to help me absorb the nutrition and get the nutrition as I could. I did my best to do. And by year 5, I could not digest anything without extreme pain. I said anything. I should have said plant-based proteins. Anytime I would try to fulfill my protein needs, I would just be left with so much pain to where I would rather at the end, oh, sorry, tick. I'm probably going to leave that in there because hello, country life, that's truth. But it got to the point where I would almost rather not eat. So that was an issue for me. Teeth and oral health was an issue for all of us. My gums were starting to recede. The thing that really got me was when my youngest daughter started having teeth issues. I was doing everything that I could for her teeth health. I was focusing on all of the things that we are taught to do for oral health. And by the time that my daughter was 2, she had 10 cavities, and some of her front teeth had cavities in there, and some of her canine teeth were starting to chip off and whittle away. And as a mother, that's when I had to question if what I was doing was the right choice. So in summation, we got her teeth worked on and we started integrating animal products again. And when we did, my digestion issues stopped. I was so afraid of eating meat and animal products because I had not for so many years. And I was told that if you start eating animal proteins again, when it's been a long time, your body won't have the gut health and the bacteria to digest it. So I had been warned that eating meat would cause lots of digestion pains. Well, I was already dealing with digestion pains, so what did I have to lose? I had digestive pains to lose, is the answer. As I started integrating cheeses again, and I'm not a milk drinker, but I added into things that I cook, my digestion problems resolved themselves entirely. And as soon as I did start eating meat, I was able to hold another 10 pounds on my body and not lose it. And I'm very active. That's my thing, is I have to keep up eating with as active as I am. And that's not a problem with animal products anymore. And then some news that we got from my youngest daughter's dentist about 3 months ago is that all of the decay in her teeth have entirely stopped. Since we've been starting to raise our own animals, have lots of bacon, have lots of healthy animal fats, and her teeth are much better off than they were when we were eating a vegan diet. So we're still dealing with the baby teeth that have cavities, but the issues are no longer progressing in her teeth. So how do we go from going vegan for moral purposes to raising and slaughtering our own meat? That's a huge shift on the thought scale and the heart scale. So we're going to talk about those things next. So as a vegan, I really learned to value life. And as you grow your values around life, sometimes that shifts our viewpoints surrounding death. And the way that I was starting to look at death as a vegan was that it was bad. And even though death is uncomfortable, even though death sucks when it comes to like losing a loved one or someone or something that you care about, death is actually a natural part of life. And as I began entertaining the idea of going back to eating meat, I started seeing death everywhere. And it sounds kind of funny, but it's true. I would end up seeing birds savagely eat crawdads, and it's not a pretty process. And I just started seeing death reflected all over the place, even in the vegan industries. So many fields and ecosystems are absolutely destroyed for these monoculture practices to grow soy, which isn't the best for our body right now anyway, and all sorts of things. And as I started researching again how we could farm in a way and raise animals in an ethical way, I saw how important animals were for our ecosystem and environment. Animals are absolutely key to healthy soil, to healthy ecosystems, and not very many animals or insects are even present in the monocropping and modern agricultural practices. And because animals aren't so involved in these farming practices, it's actually destroying the soil and the topsoil, because the animals and what they bring to land are not present to help the land. Now we have farmers who can't even properly hydrate a field of corn or vegetables because their fields cannot soak up and hold and maintain the moisture that falls from the sky because they have dirt, not soil, due to the agricultural practices. So as I started looking at more regenerative practices for farming and raising meat and working with the land, I shifted how I saw death. I also shifted how I was seeing animals' natural roles in our ecosystems. So I still hate how Slaughterhouses handled their food and death practices, I'll say. So I knew right away that I would not be feeding into the same industry when we went back to eating animal products. We did start getting meat from the store when we first transitioned back to animal products because we were not in a place to try this and that with veganism and seeing what worked. We knew an option and we just went for it. But those traditional slaughterhouse methods for farming and processing meat are why we raise our meat as we do now. Here at Home and Haven Farms, we give our animals the best and most natural life that they can live. So in a slaughterhouse, most animals would be lucky to see the light of day through a window. In a slaughterhouse, most animals live in confined cages and cannot even turn around. In slaughterhouses, that is their whole life. And that method of raising meat inspired us to look for other ways of raising meat. Here, our animals get a ton of grass and free forage, and they get rotated around through areas that they can graze, just like they would naturally in the wild. And a big difference between living at our place and living in the wild is that if our animals are injured or need care, we are here to do that for them. Even in the wild, if an animal gets injured, nobody is there to take care of it, and it's most likely going to suffer immensely or die a slow and painful death. So here our animals get treatment. And the last thing that I wanted to discuss was something that we have not talked about here on Home and Haven Farms yet, which are our spiritual beliefs. And Bryan and I, we are not Christian. We are probably more animist and pagan, but part of our belief system is the cycle of life, that which is natural to us. And death is very much a part of that natural process. So from our perspective, there are different things called soul contracts. Just like how we're having right here, we're having this discussion. I would see this as a soul contract, whether it's small or big. If it's just for a moment or for the long haul. These are just little connection moments for us. And Bryan and I believe in the cycle of life. We believe in reincarnation. We don't believe in a torturous afterlife. We don't believe in fearing living or dying. We believe in life and that everything does have a purpose, including our livestock. In our belief system, our livestock chose to come into this life as livestock. And with that being our belief system, we think that our livestock have a hell of a better life than the livestock that are raised in the traditional factory farm and agricultural settings. When we take a life here, it is not something that's just done as a malicious act of harm. When we take life here, it's because we need food. It's for the purpose of food. And that is the exchange for the good life and caretaking that we do here. Our animals do not have to suffer, unlike the animals and livestock raised in traditional factory farms. Here, our livestock have the most natural and best life that they can have. Here, our livestock get care. Here, our animals get to be in the comfort and safety of their own home and family when they go at that moment of transition. For us, the key between all of it is suffering. Really at the heart of why we went vegan was because we didn't like the suffering. We didn't like just utilizing animals only for food. We see their value now. We see their purpose in this world. We have a purpose with them for more than just food. We want to be loving caretakers and custodians, and as custodians, it feels like we are doing these animals a sense of justice. So whenever they go on to their next life, at least in this one, it wasn't such a cruel ending or exchange. We just do our best to take good care of the animals while we have them here. make the end fast, not a torturous process where the blood gets all adrenalized before the soul transitions. And we want to do a good job by ourselves, by our animals, and by our planet. So these are some of the reasons why we've gone back to eating animal products and also raising our own. For us, it's a way that we can guarantee the best life experience for our animals. And we cannot guarantee that by paying somebody else to take care of those things for us. So that is going to be the end of our video. If you liked this video, let us know if you had similar experiences, or if you went from being vegan to eating meat or raising your own meat. Let us know your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to open up discussion for people who have had similar experiences. Don't forget to go ahead and check out our last video that we did where Derek from Awaken Your Mind on YouTube invited us onto his YouTube channel for a discussion about the Anarchist Cookbook 2.0 that my friend and I did, and lifestyle, diet, and the homesteading stuff. So if you guys want to hear more about that, go ahead and check out our video. And of course, if you like our videos, go ahead and subscribe and stick around for more videos to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.